Hello guys, welcome to another trade recap. Today we got a long and we got a short. Both of them are winners. One is going to be on EQ and the other one is going to be on ES. So let me just go ahead and explain why I took this first trade on EQ and then we're going to jump into ES. So to fully understand what I was thinking on this trade, which I'm pretty happy with this trade if I'm being honest, just because I follow my gut, my conviction, and just pretty much just follow I pretty much trusted myself a lot on this trade. So the idea behind this shit was actually, let me just go over here to the higher time frame, and you're gonna see this because this is the second time I record this because I need to get my ideas straight when I explain things. So I was actually looking at the supports and resistance that we pretty much have been trading since last month, and I was like, okay, we're in this area that most likely, as we can see over here, price has been using as a support and a resistance too. So let me see if we can find support over here, and on the other side of this, I guess, price strategy or whatever you're gonna call it, we had a daily fair value gap. We have a 4 hour. We have a 1 hour daily. Daily 4 hour and 1 hour fair value gaps on the on EQ. And also, you want to add the other thing that I saw. It was that price haven't returned all the way back to point of control, and that's an 80% probability. But most likely, we're gonna return to point of control if we haven't actually touched it. The previously point of control, by the way. So pretty much everything was just saying okay, bro. Like we might be able to go long, on NQ. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go at open or pretty much we're gonna like look for a double break long. I don't know, but I know that most likely I want to be long at least on NQ. And yes, we can talk ES later, but on NQ I really like the longs. So then when I jump into the market open and I was watching bookmap on my on my other monitor, I saw there was a huge block of orders on NQ at pretty much 29,300 over here. It was like fucking red, bro. And I was like, okay, if we go to the block of orders and we pretty much like fill the orders and we turn, bro, that's gonna be like huge for long, bro. And we actually did that. So pretty much we took the orders, pushed lower, and then pretty much we got the initial like look all this trend. And I was watching bookmap and I was just seeing hella fucking bubbles of boom, 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 bubbles of just buying of buyers over here. And I was like, bet, bro, let me see if we can get the order block form, or at least we already are above BWAP over here. But let me just see if we can get the order block form. And that's what pretty much it. I did enter a little bit earlier, I didn't wait for the full close, but I was just like confident in my read of the market here. So I pretty much took long over here, and I just traded back to the level on overnight, and also just wanted to be out of the trade before the opening range was set. I know the full idea is maybe you want to like call it trade all the way to point of control or to midnight or London or Asia. It doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to take the trade level to level, and for me was opening range, set time based closing of trade, and also back to overnight. And now something I didn't notice when I was doing the first trade recap take, is that we actually never pull back to overnight in the morning. The last time that we actually pulled back to overnight was at 3 a.m. in the morning. So that can also be an extra confluence for me to, target this. But I didn't notice it. When I took the trade, I didn't notice that. I was just looking at the PY and I was like, okay, this could be a good magnet and also time based on the opening range set time. Let me just take the trade over here. And yeah, that's pretty much the trade that I took on NQ, and I took that trade on one of my lucid funded. So I took a loss on that account yesterday, and now it's up green after this trade. And I think it was like $200 profit on this trade, which it was. I just won one micro, bro, because it's in Q. So I just traded one micro in this idea, and yeah, that's pretty much it on that trade. And then jumping on NQ on NQ, sorry, on ES, I played the double break on ES today, and let me just go ahead and explain why. And again, similar to NQ, ES also has some levels that I wanna show you guys over here, and these are more recent levels. So we can see pretty much the Asian London session, also like a little bit like um I guess this is gonna be the afternoon session of yesterday's price action. We formed this range over here, and I was interested to see a pop higher. If I'm being honest, I was bullish today, just because the overall structure of price. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty much just seeing like a higher low form over here to push higher, and the same thing on NQ. This is the 4 hour, by the way. So um when I saw pretty much like price push higher, not able to break above this, I guess you want to call it like resistance above us, of pretty much like the range is pretty much like really clear on ES, and I just marked it down. And the thing I was watching was actually it was point of control. And like I mentioned yesterday on the trade recap, I have been watching point of control more often, and I have seen this scenarios where we are pretty much breaking opening range high. I have just seen this setups on opening range high, pretty much like double break shorts. Most likely, I think I had only seen this trade like longs if we traded to point of control lower and then we push higher. I think I had only seen that shit like once. But this scenario that we just had right now, where pretty much we broke higher, we broke open range high, and then we trade into point of control, and then we reject point of control, and we close under BWAP. That has been a setup where I guess a scenario that I have seen like around like 8 times already. So that also gave me the confidence, and then adding up that we are pretty much on top of the range. Like, let me just go to the 1 minute, guys, over here so you guys can see what I'm saying. So this is the open, and let me just go to the 1 minute. As we can see, bro, like we literally go to the top of the range, rejected point of control over here, and now we're just closing directly under B. We have no pullback or nothing, bro. It's pretty much like top point of control, instantly drop and go back to close under BWAPs, the overnight and the New York BWAP, by the way. Another thing I was watching too, it was a structure that it was forming before the double break. And this is, I guess, more of my own discretion in a sense, you know, but something I have seen on the double breaks recently or previously too is this is that pretty much we can test overnight New York before the opening range is set, but once we broke the opening range high or low and we haven't actually pulled back to New York BWAP, and we kind of like have a pullback, but we don't fully test New York BWAP, and we push higher, and then once we close underneath, like this semi pullback that does not have New York can happen like 2-3 times. That's a characteristic I have seen for the double break. I don't know if you guys are following me, but let me just remove this so you guys can understand. So like if we remove this VWAP over here, I think it's more clear. We push higher, we pull back, but we don't fully, we test New York BWAP, we push higher again. And then now the time that we actually pull back to BWAP, we close under BWAP. So that has been a characteristic that I have seen on double breaks. Call me crazy, call me whatever, but it's just something I have seen before. And I guess it's just probably just the markups that I have marked a lot, and everything, but just it's something I have seen before. So adding the range, adding the point of control rejection, you know. So I pretty much took the short and ended up just exiting over here. And if you go back to the chart that I showed you guys over here, if we exit over here, I don't think it's a bad exit. If I'm being honest, I know the point of control, the TP is all the way over here, which is I think it's like 5 points of difference. I think it's a kind of like a kind of like 7 points, which is fine in my head. I think I did like 115 on this trade. But I'm to be honest, I don't like pretty much I'm worried about the PNL anymore that much. The thing is that I think it was a good area to exit, and the reason was because of this. Like this is the bottom of the range. If we mark the range, this is the bottom of the range. Now, if I don't consider this part of the range because if you go to the 15 minute, this is just a wick through the range. The range was already set at open. So this is the range. Like if you want to argue we can make the range smaller like this, maybe you can get a little bit extra points, you know. But I don't think it was a bad exit just because it was the bottom of the range that we already initially saw on ES. So, you know, we're green on both of the trades. So I'm just gonna take my green and just run, bro. I'm really happy with the execution. I'm happy where I exited the trade. Yeah, I could probably had taken a little bit more profit, but I think this was the area to exit, and also because it was the price level of the previous days um of ES. So I think it was also like a good area to exit, just in my opinion. I know the XFAs, Austin and Randy actually hold all the way to I think 11, 18, I think. But I feel confident in well, I feel content with my exit, if I'm being honest, just because I follow my analysis and everything. And maybe, yeah, maybe I would probably just gonna wait a little bit longer to get a little bit more extra profit on my next double break, But based on the conditions that we were in, I'm happy to take my profits over here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me today. I hope you guys learned something from my trading today, and I hope you guys learned something from your own trading today too. And yeah, that's pretty much a really good. I'm really happy with my trades for today, guys. I didn't trade anything else on the day. This is 2 p.m. I'm not really watching charts at this time. I'm probably just um, I think I was just having like breakfast at this time, and I'm still working. So yeah, like after I've done I with this trading, I think I stopped looking at charts like when once we reach open range low. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me today. I hope you guys learned something from your own trading too, and see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow it's NFP, so tomorrow's gonna be interesting. Still, we need to be careful. NFP can be trappy and volatile, so we need to watch ourselves tomorrow too. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day, and see you guys tomorrow. Take care.